All right. Hi, guys. So I'm Natalie, if you don't know me. So this is your 45-ish minute Pilates class. We're going to start standing. You can just face one long end of your mat. You can just have the camera angling down towards your mat. It doesn't really matter in the beginning if I see your bodies too well. I will, of course, anchor my just so you can see. All right. So just standing inner hip distance apart. I'm going to face you just so that you can have more of a visual guide, if you will. And then just have a soft bend in the knees. And then you can get out any like loosey-goosey moments you need to happen in the spine. And then eventually just kind of settle into some stillness with the arms staying nice and heavy by your sides. Knees softly bent, tailbone reaching down towards the floor, crown of the head reaching up to the ceiling. And then go ahead and bring your hands to wrap around your rib cage. Thumbs go behind and forefingers in front. If that's not comfortable for you, you can give yourself a little hug with your hands around the ribs. But just so that you can have some tactile feedback while we get in tune with our breath. Very importante. So take a few just inhales and exhales in whatever way feels most natural to you. And for those who just joined, we are simply breathing. Good. And start to feel the spine kind of grow a little bit taller as you pull your neck out of your collarbones, pull your ribs off of your hips. Just finding a little bit more length. Your eyes can be closed or they can be soft, or you can stay looking at me. And just scanning your body for any tension that I might be holding on to in the brows, the shoulders. And as you find that inhale and exhale, start to transition into a Pilates breath pattern, if you know what that means, where we inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. If this doesn't come super naturally to you, then just find whatever breath that keeps you the most focused and the most connected to your body. And your hands are there so that you can start to feel the expansion of the rib cage. And then as you exhale, you're gonna start to feel the rib cage hug inwards as your hands come closer together. So finding that lateral breath engagement, breathing into the sides of the body towards the back, exhaling, growing a little bit taller as the belly pulls in. Finding that TBA, just wrapping inward with every exhale out. A deep layer of core muscles. Those of you who don't know what TBA means, give me 3 more. Last 2. And then on this last one, I just want you to drop your arms down by your side, give them a little wiggle. And as you inhale next, I want you to reach your arms circling wide to the sides of the room and up to the ceiling. And then just pause here with your arms reaching up overhead. And then I want you to kind of start to feel like your arms are pulling up a little bit taller. So it's almost like you're trying to climb an imaginary rope. You don't actually have to grab that imaginary rope, but just start to kind of feel your shoulders grow up and out of each rib cage from side to side. Feeling your head growing a little bit taller. Maybe extending the legs a little bit longer as long as you don't lock those knees. And then finding your highest lift, I want you to take a breath in, one last sip of air, inhale. Exhale, press the air down as you flip the palms down by your hips. Grow still taller through the crown of the head as the arms reach down toward the hips. Good, inhale, let's do a few more like that. Inhale, reaching up nice and wide and tall. Exhale, flipping the arms as you press down. I really feel like you're moving through like a very thick liquid as you press those arms down. Just give me 2 more of those, growing longer, growing taller. Last one here. And then exhale, press everything down. From here, I want you to bring one hand to the front of your pubic area, your pelvis, and then the last hand, or the other hand, the last hand, to the back of your low back. So it's like your hands are both like facing the same direction. I want you to have a soft bend in the knees. Start to stick your bum out, like you're kind of wagging your tail back behind you on your inhale. On your exhale, you're gonna start to tuck your tailbone, finding a little posterior tilt. Inhale, tailbone really lengthens nice and long, flares back. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, belly pulls in. And if you're not super comfortable with this movement, don't worry about it too much. Just kind of think about tilting those hips back behind you. And then exhale, lengthening through the low back as you curl that tail underneath you. Give me like 3 more of those. Last 2. And then the last one, I want you to find an in-between of those 2 extremes. Bring your hands behind your head. And then keeping those knees softly bent, I just want you to lengthen your neck up and out of your collarbones again. Feel that traction between the hands and the back of the skull. And then you're gonna start to round your elbows over your ears as you round your head down to your chest, finding this nice stretch in the thoracic spine along the shoulder blades. And then as you inhale, you're gonna open those elbows, reach your heart up slightly to the sky. Exhale, round the arms, round the chest. So it's almost like we're kind of doing some standing cat-cows, which you know I love, a cat-cow. And feel free to get a little loosey-goosey with it. It may be your body is calling for some lateral flexion here. Maybe you want to kind of find a little circle in one direction to stretch out through the opposite side of your low back. Or you can keep going with that heart opener and shoulder stretch. Just like 3 more breaths of whatever you're up to. Get funky with it. No one's watching you. And then on your next exhale, I want everyone to meet me in that nice rounded dome of your upper back. Bend your knees and then start to roll yourself all the way down into a forward fold. Staying in your forward fold, your knees are softly bent. Your hands can stay behind your neck, or if you'd like to grab opposite elbows to kind of weigh yourself down a little more, that's cool with me too. And then just trying to find a nice deep bend in the knees. Maybe shake your head yes and no. And then when you're ready, I want you to start to crawl your hands out and step your feet back, finding a plank position. Now, if you have any wrist sensitivities, you can feel free to drop down onto your forearms. Or you can always bring your knees down to find a kneeling plank, but we're gonna start to flow through a plank downward dog. So holding this plank for a second, I want you to feel like you're pressing the floor away from your chest, and then start to bend your knees, slightly gaze forward, and then press your hips up high, finding a downward dog stretch here. And then I want you to start to tuck through the tailbone, rounding through the spine. Let that articulation ripple all the way up to the crown of your head, and then bend the knees. And then you can press back into that downward dog. So again, take this at your own speed. I've been feeling a little bit stiff lately, hence why I've been having you do lots of flowy movements to start class. And then next time you roll forward into your plank, just pause in that plank for me. Again, you can come down to your forearms or drop your knees for a modification. And then I just want you to take deep inhales and exhales for 3. Last 2. One last brush, push the floor away a little bit further. Drop those knees, sink your hips back, finding a child's pose, round through the spine. And then take some deep inhales and exhales into the low back. If your shoulders are feeling tense and you want to stretch them out, you can walk your hands a little bit further. Maybe you massage the forehead on the mat, rocking it side to side. That always feels super nice. Lovely. And then you're going to come forward into your quadruped position. And then we're going to flip over and lie all the way down on our backs. All right. So lying down on your back, I just want you to bring your feet a little closer to your bum so that they're really hugging in towards the hamstrings. And then feet are inner hip distance apart. Arms can be wherever feels good for you for your bridges. If you don't know, then just plant them down by your sides. I want you to take an inhale. On your exhale, you're going to find that posterior tilt, so that little tuck of your tailbone that you found standing. And then you're going to start to roll your hips up, roll your waist up, roll your rib cage up very last, finding your shoulder bridge, and then just pause in your bridge here. So you're finding this nice direct line from the knees to the shoulders. If your low back ever gives you any grief, just lower your hips down a little bit further. And then from here, I want you to feel like you're dragging your heels towards your butt cheeks to really feel the backs of your legs fire up. Take a breath in. As you exhale, you're going to reverse the movement. You're going to soften through the chest, the rib cage, the waistline, the hips, and then rock into your neutral at the bottom. Inhale, tuck your tailbone, rolling up. So you're going to start to just go on your own breath pattern here. Always exhaling to peel up. Pausing at the top for a breath in. Exhale to slowly roll all the way down. And let this feel kind of like a spinal massage. Enjoying that pressure behind the spine and your yoga mat as you lower each vertebrae back down, bone by bone. Lovely, lovely. Next time you're up in your bridge, let's all just hold there for a second. And again, you're going to find that kind of squeeze of your heels towards your butt cheeks. And if you want a little bit of a funkier arm position, this reaching your arms up towards the ceiling can be a slight a slight challenge. It also feels kind of nice through the shoulders. And if you ever need to bring them back down, you can do that. From here, I just want you to inhale, untuck your tailbone as you hinge your hips halfway down to come to a little hover over your mat. And then exhale, you're just gonna scoop them back up to the sky. So you're finding a little untuck and then retuck of your tailbone. Instead of that articulation we were just doing, it's very angular now. You're hinging at the hips. You're gonna find a deep crease right at the front of your hips, right at the front of your pants or your leggings. And then you're gonna press those hips up, find that nice stretch along the fronts of your hips. Give me 5 more like this. Find those inner thighs slightly drawn towards one another for 4. Last 3. Last 2. And then lift up and then just hold here for a breath in. On your exhale, slowly melt your spine all the way down. Take a breath at the bottom. On your exhale, you're going to peel right back up, hold your bridge. From here, I want you to slightly start to lean a little bit more into that left heel. Try not to shift your pelvis or what your legs are up to. Just try to press a little bit more into that left heel. You're going to float your right leg into tabletop. Okay, if your arms are lifted and you need a little bit more support, just bring your arms back down as we go into single leg bridging work. So we're going to find some ab and abduction here. So I want you to keep the hips nice and still. Start to open that right leg out like 3 inches to the right. And then exhale, squeeze it back in right over the hip. So you might not even be able to see anything from facing me in this direction. But that thigh is staying completely lifted and that shin is staying parallel. As you just open out 1 inch, squeeze it back in. Starting to feel that left oblique, trying to keep us nice and anchored, as well as obviously that left glute. Give me 5. And 4. Try not to let your chest or your hips shift too much. Last 3. 2. Next time that knee is right over the hip, pause. You're going to find a little pulse of your hips up by pressing into that left foot. Go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the foot down, re-square the hips. You can take a little roll down if you need to rest. Otherwise, let's bring our pressure into that right foot and then float that left leg into tabletop. And then making sure the hips are staying nice and still, you're going to start to go for that tiny little opening out to the left with that left leg. Exhale brings it right back over the hip. And start to become more aware of that right thigh and make sure it's not trying to do a little dance to counterbalance that left thigh. And if this means your left leg is only moving like a millimeter, then that's totally fine as long as the rest of the body stays nice and stable. Let's go for 4 more. Whew. And 3. Last 2. Next time the leg is back on top of the hip, pause. Find a little pulse of the hips up. Pressing really firmly through the right foot for 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the foot down, roll your hips all the way down. Love it. Bring your knees into your chest. Just to stretch out the low back. Go for some rocks from side to side. You guys look amazing from the little tiny squares of you I can see. Bring your legs into a tabletop position for me. All right. So knees right over the hips. Draw your navel in and find that little natural arch of the low back. If your low back ever starts to hurt, I just want you to imprint your low back on the mat. Otherwise, hands come behind your head. Elbows in your peripheries. I want you to take a breath in. As you exhale, I just want you to nod your chin to your chest and curl forward. Inhale, extend your head back. And then if your neck starts to feel like it's tensing up, see if you can almost add like an active pull with those hands forward so that you really start to feel the triceps really lifting the head up. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, last 2. And then you're gonna hold this next curl forward. Staying lifted through the chest. You're gonna start to open both knees out like you're opening a book. Your thighs are a book. Exhale, squeeze them back together. Good, inhale, they part. Exhale, you zip them back together. As you're doing this, maybe you find a little bit higher of a lift of the chest every time you zip those legs together. So thighs open, exhale, they close. You find a higher curl in the chest. Yes, if your neck ever starts to bother you, just lay your head down and then meet me back up here if you can. Let's go for 5 more. Make sure that your feet are kind of hidden by your knees so that your legs are staying parallel. This is 4, 3, 2. Next time your legs are zipped together, pause. I want you to find a tiny pulse in the chest, up an inch, down an inch for 8, 6, 4, last 2, last 1. Hug your knees into your chest. Go for some rocks from side to side. We have 1 more set of abs after this. And that's that on that. All right, guys. Legs come back into your tabletop. Hands behind your noggin. You're going to meet me in your curl and hold. Again, you can always lay your head down if you need to. We're going to find that same abduction and adduction that we did in our shoulder bridges. So I want you to start to freeze that left thigh. Left thigh is now frozen. Open the right thigh out to the right and then squeeze it back in. Good. Now we're going right over to the other side. Open the left leg out. Squeeze it back in. You're going to go from side to side. Good. And make sure that you're keeping the opposite thigh nice and still. And the challenge here is not letting the upper body start to twist, not letting your hips start to rock and roll from side to side. See if you can curl up a little higher. Legs are still parallel. Let's go for 4 more to each side. Last 3. Last 2. Last set to each side, and then zip your legs together and hold. Find your tiny pulse up an inch and down an inch for 10. 8. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm dead. I'm dead. Extend your legs long and then hug your right knee into your chest. So interlace your hands around that right shin. And then I just want you to feel a nice stretch through the left hip flexor. I like to kind of pull my my bent knee over to the opposite armpit. And then if you can't feel the stretch in the front of your left hip, try to squeeze your left butt cheek and see if that intensifies the stretch a wee bit more. And then bring that knee across your body and cross it over to the left, and then go ahead and make a goalpost or a T position with that right arm and gaze over your right shoulder. And then come back through center, extend that leg long, bend the left knee into the chest, give it a little hug, take a few deep breaths here. Letting the right leg grow a little longer. And if you want to, you can flex that right butt cheek, seeing if that intensifies that hip flexor release. Cross the leg over to the right, open the left arm out, and then just pause for a few breaths in your supine twist. Alrighty then, come back to center, extend your legs long, just reach your arms overhead so that they're on the floor behind you. And then just take a nice reach, let the ribs kind of flare open, taking a nice stretch through the abdominals. And then close your ribs. I want you to float your arms up to the ceiling, take a breath in. As you exhale, nod your chin to your chest, we're gonna roll all the way up to seated. Love it. Okay. From here, guys, you're gonna scoot yourself back so that your heels can rest on the mat. So if you're taller, that might be quite a ways. And then I want you to, so you're gonna lean back and come onto your hands and let your chest just kind of drop for a second. Let your shoulders kind of shrug up to your ears. And then I just want you to press yourself really actively up and out of those shoulders, getting your shoulders as far away from the ears as you can. Okay, we're gonna go into some leg pull, if you know what that means. Such a treat. So pressing down through the heels of your feet, you're gonna start to roll your hips up, tuck the tailbone, lift the hips up until you find this nice long line from the toes to the shoulders. Breath in. Exhale, start to articulate down, C curving, and then sit yourself back up into that starting position. Or I guess not sit back up, but just like that starting position. All right, take a breath in. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, roll the hips up, and then you press up and out of those shoulders, pause. Try to stay lifted out of the shoulders as you start to melt down through the chest. Good. If this is not working for your ankles at all, I've been there, you can just bring your feet flat on the mat. Otherwise, let's do one more little roll up and then just hold, finding this reverse plank variation. Press into those hands a little bit more actively. Press into the left heel, start to float the right leg up. Woo! Hold the hamstring, bring it back down. Left leg up. Bring it back down. Keep pressing yourself away from the floor with those hands. If your feet are flat on the mat for that other variation, you can bring your legs one at a time into tabletop. And then you can go for whatever variation of leg pull you know. If you don't know any variations of leg pull, then stick with whatever I'm up to. Let's go for 3 more to each side. That's 2. Oh, press into your hands a little bit more. Last one. And then next time that left leg comes down, just lift your hips up the highest point. Take a breath in. Exhale, roll your hips down. Oh, I'm sweaty. Glide your chest forward. Finding a forward fold. Hands can come to the shins, the soles of the feet, whatever. And then just round your chest, alleviating any low back tension that might just happen. On your inhale, I just want you to lengthen up out of your spine, wherever your hands are. Don't worry about that too much. Exhale, I want you to start to round the chest forward, maybe getting a little bit lower, maybe getting a little bit longer through the spine. Do one more like that. Inhale, just to find a little bit more length up and out of the sits bones. Exhale, hinge, and then you can round the chest. Alrighty. Okay, we're gonna come all the way up to standing once again. So let me adjust my cami. Okay, once we are standing, guys, you are going to make sure that you have wingspan to the sides of you. So I'm standing in the center of my mat. What does my hair look like? I have no idea. Hands come to your hips. Feet at a hip distance apart. However, we're going into some squats. So if your feet are somewhere else for your squats, find that. And then I just want you to start to press your hips down, lowering into whatever your squat is, and then just stand all the way back up. All right. Nice and easy. Maybe you're trying to pay attention to that alignment, making sure the knees are kind of anchoring over that second-ish toe. Finding a nice flat back here, bringing your hands wherever feels comfortable. They can stay on the hips. Maybe you bring a hand to the low back to make sure you're protecting the lumbar, pulling the abs in. Let's go for 3 more of these. Last 2. And then I want you to lower down and then just hold that squat. From here, I want you to start to sway your weight to the left foot and then start to sway your weight into the right foot. So if you've taken my class in the last like 3 days, then you know where we're going. But you're just trying to find that little transfer of weight from right to left and trying to keep the hips on the same plane, trying to keep the knees still tracking over the ankles relatively. And then next time you're on that left leg, I want you to pause. From here, maybe sink down a little bit lower into that left foot or left knee. Extend the right leg so that the right toes are tapping down on the mat. And then just bring it back underneath you. So you're just taking a little tap back in. So imagine that you almost have like a slider on the floor. I don't have any of those, but it's almost like you're sliding your foot, bringing it back in. I like to find a little tap for whatever reason. But the idea is just kind of try to keep that weight on that left foot. Maybe you transfer your weight a little bit more into the heel. See if that helps you turn on your glute and your hammy a little bit more. Let's go for 3 more. Last 2. And then you're gonna keep that right leg extended and hold. Okay. From here, bring your hands into a prayer position in front of your chest. Lower down a little bit more. Lean your chest forward slightly. Take a breath in. As you exhale, you're rotating to the left. Inhale, come back to center. So you're finding a thoracic twist. Inhale, center. Let's go for 5 more, keeping those abs pulled in. And 4. Last 3. Last 2. And then I want you to hold that twist. Lowering down 1 inch in that left leg, up 1 inch. Down 1 inch in the left leg, up an inch. Go for 5. And 4. Micro bend in that left knee for 3. Last 2. Last 1. Stand all the way up. Wiggle it out. Woo. I'm so sweaty. All right. Hands come back into your hips. Feet inner hip distance apart. Find your little squat. We're doing it all again, guys. Find your little sway from right to left. Maybe you check in with your back to make sure it's not giving you any grief here. Nice long line from the tailbone to the crown of your noggin. And then next time you're in that right leg, you're gonna hold. Extend that left leg so that you tap the toe down, bring it back in. Maybe your hands come to your hips here to make sure that they're not wiggling up and down too much. I always kind of like to use the imagery of like a string tied around the bottom of my quad and it's being like pulled to the right. So being pulled towards that side of your body that's trying to anchor, just to kind of keep proper alignment and start to feel that outside of that glute help you with stability. Go for 3. Last 2. Keep that leg extended. Lower down 1 more inch. Bring your hands into a prayer position. Take a breath in as you exhale. You're rotating to the right. Inhale and rotate. Exhale, you're twisting. Inhale, center. Let's go for 5. And 4. Last 3. Last 2. And then see if you can hold your twist. Lower down 1 inch through that standing leg, up 1 inch. So micro bend in the right knee, micro extend. Go for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, stand all the way up. What a treat. Shake it on out. Stand on the back edge of your mat facing the longest way you can. Reach your arms up to the ceiling, getting nice and long. Roll your fingertips forward like you're trying to drip paint off of the ends of your fingernails. Round your chin to your chest. Roll all the way down, getting this nice stretch to the spine. And then once you roll all the way down, open your legs a little bit wider, really deep bend in the knees. Grab opposite elbows and go ahead and sway from side to side. I've been doing a lot of extension work today before this class, so my back is tight. All right, bring your hands down to the mat, start to crawl yourself out. Come into a quadruped position. Woo, I guess you can't see me. Once you're in your quadruped position, go ahead and find some cat-cows, whatever that may mean to you, spinal flexion and extension, maybe some lateral flexion, making some circles. Get funky with it, do whatever feels good here. Incredible. All right, find some stillness. And then I want you to, you're gonna float that left arm up and bring it into a cactus goalpost position with the palm facing down. So holding this position for a second, just kind of scanning your body to see how it might have adjusted to just that shift. And then I want you to start to stretch that left arm up over the left ear so that the palm starts to shine towards the right side of the room. And then bend the elbow wide, finding that cactus / goalpost. So you're extending the arm in line with your ear and then bending the elbow. I had a client say that I say goalpost because I'm from Texas. She said that last week. And now I'm like hyper aware of when I say cactus versus goalpost. And so I've really recently just been saying both of them together. All right, keep pressing out of that right arm. And then next time that left elbow bends, hold. You're gonna bring the palm so that it's facing down, low back. You're now, that left arm is resting on your low back. I want you to have a little minor shift forward into that right finger, to your right fingertips. Give me a micro bend of that right elbow and then extend. So you're finding a single arm tricep dip and extend. This doesn't have to be huge. Mine is very tiny today. Or you can go all the way down so that the hairline touches the mat. Wherever you are, go for 5 and 4. Last 3 and 2. 1. Bring that left hand down. Take a few cat-cows or shoulder shrugs, whatever, just getting out. Just stretching out your back and shoulders for a quick sec. All right, homies, let's do it all again. So find your perfect quadruped, really press up and out of your shoulders, pressing them out away from you. Bring that right arm into a goalpost position. Cool, you're gonna stretch it all the way forward till it's shining towards the left side of your mat. Bend the elbow, palm faces down. Trying to keep that forearm lifted as much as you can. Keep pressing the floor away from you with that left hand. Go for 3 more. Last 2. And then next time that elbow bends back, flip the palm so that it rests on the low back. Slight hinge of your left shoulder forward, bend your left elbow, and then extend. This arm, for whatever reason, is a lot harder. You can always bring that opposite hand down to find both elbows bending. You have 5 more. And 4. Last 3. 2. Last one. Bring your hands out. Press your hips back, find a child's pose here. Walk your arms out in front of you. Tent the hands up so that just the fingertips are on the mat. Let the armpits just kind of sink down towards the floor. All right, from here, I want you to slither on forward and you're gonna lie all the way down in a prone position on your belly. You're gonna stack your forearms on top of each other to make a little pillow for your head, and then rest your forehead down on the back of one of your hands. And then just kind of pause here for a few breaths, right? We've done, my heart rate's pretty high. It's also because I'm talking a lot. But just kind of feeling the warmth of your body, trying to see if you're holding on to any tension anywhere. Just take a few breaths here to sink a little bit heavier into the mat. Good. Maybe let the abs release entirely. And then before moving into some extension work, I want you to bring your toes so that they're the width of the mat. If you have anything else you prefer for extension, then you can bring your legs to that position. This is how I get the most optimal extension without hurting my low back. So toes pointing out, heels pointing in. And then I want you to lower down onto your right cheek. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, your elbows cinching back towards your waistline. All right. Once you are there, draw your belly in, have a little tiny posterior tilt, pressing your pubic bone down towards the mat. Bring your forehead down on the mat so that you're nice and lined up. Take an inhale here. On the exhale, you're gonna start to press into the hands really slightly as you start to lift your heart and your chest up, coming into a little baby back extension here. Back of the neck nice and long. Pubic bone pressing down towards the floor. You're lengthening your sacrum towards your heels. Breath in here. As you exhale, pull the abs in even more as you start to lower all the way down onto your forehead. Inhale. Exhale, you're gonna press up once again. Draw the belly in, pull the abs in, press the pubic bone down, lengthen the shoulders down your back, open up the collarbones, and then start to lower all the way back down. One more here, guys. You're gonna press up and hold. All right, from here, I want you to start to float your right leg up off of the mat, keeping it completely straight, and then bring it back down, and then float the left leg up, and then tap it back down. So you're finding a very slow little lift, finding that hip extension. Keep pulling the abs in, keep lengthening the back of the neck so you're not giving yourself any trouble there. Go for 4 more to each side. Maybe lift the chest up a little higher for 3. Last 2. Last one to each side. Bring your hands back underneath your forehead. Bend your knees and let's just let them swish from right to left. Cross, like kind of like windshield wipers on a car, loosening up the low back. All right, guys, we're gonna go into swimming next. So if you don't know what that means, listen carefully. You're gonna find that same lengthen out through the legs, external rotation. Bring your hands, let's say like in line with your shoulders ever so slightly, and then come out to the fingertips, slightly in front of your shoulders. Take a breath in. As you exhale, I want you to press into the fingertips, lift your chest up and hold. From here, roll the shoulders up, down, and back. Reach your right hand forward, reach your left arm forward, and then start to see if you can float those legs up off the mat as well. So finding both your arms and your legs lifted up, pulling your navel in. From here, you're gonna start to swim. So you're gonna start to alternate one leg and one arm down at a time, switching in the air. Like you're swimming. And then see how strong you can keep those legs. Keep the knees nice and straight. Keep reaching through the crown of the head. Back of the neck is nice and long. Keep pulling the belly in. Keep swimming for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your hands down. Bring them right at nipple height. Press into them. And then you're going to find a child's pose, finding a nice rounded spine. If you have any other variation of spinal flexion that you'd like to stretch out that back, go for it. All right, guys, one last set of abs, and then we're done for the day. Flip yourself around to sit on this. Scoot your bum forward, and then extend your legs long. So from here, just, I like to move my butt out of the way so that I'm really sitting up nice and tall on my sits bones. Take it or leave it. And then if your hips are a little tight, you can do whatever with your knees maybe bent if that helps it at all. Bring your forearms on top of each other like your I Dream of Jeannie. Take a breath in. As you exhale, I want you to start to tuck your tailbone and round yourself into a nice dramatic C-curve position. Take another breath in. Exhale, you're gonna start to roll back halfway so that you start to feel the abs turn on. Pause here. Take a breath in. As you exhale, you're gonna pull the ribs forward over the hips and then sit up nice and tall once your sits bones ground. Inhale here, exhale, tuck the tailbone, rounding back. Your heels will move on the floor if you're wondering as you roll back. I like to flex my feet here, it just kind of helps me stay nice and strong through the lower body. And if you have any other variation with the arms that you would rather be doing, go for it. You can reach them out in front of you. For the hardest variation, you can bring them behind your head. Just be careful with that one. It could be quite tedious. And then next time you roll back, I just want you to hold your position. So hold your halfway point and pause there. Drop the shoulders away from your ears. Tuck your tailbone a little bit more. Scoop your abs in. From here, I just want you to hinge your rib cage back 1 inch. Exhale forward 1 inch. Inhale back 1 inch. Exhale forward 1 inch. Good. Think about pinching the bottoms of the ribs slightly just over the hips. Go for 6 and 5. Last 4 and 3, 2. Last one, roll all the way up to seated. Take a second. You can roll your shoulders out. And then we're doing one, I don't want to say one last version. We're doing another version. You're going to tuck your tailbone, round back, and hold. Okay, from here, you're going to float your right leg into tabletop. If this is a stretch, bring that right leg back down. Otherwise, keeping the right leg in tabletop, you're going to start to rotate to the right with your rib cage. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Let's go for 8 and 7. Arms frame chest. This is 5, 4, 3. Wringing out the rib cage or wringing out the waistline. Last 2. Last one, come back to center. Right leg lowers down, left leg into tabletop. Take a breath in. Exhale, rotate to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Cinch that low belly and even more. Let's go for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, find center and hold. Reach your arms out like a zombie. Float your right leg up to meet your left leg and hold your teaser. Prep for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your feet down. And then you're going to dive yourself forward over your legs. Stretch out your back. You guys can turn to face me if you're not, and then just find this cross-legged position. Knees back. Find those sits bones anchoring down. And then I want you to bring that right hand down or start to crawl it out. Reach that left arm up and over. I just hit my plant. Taking this nice side bend. Maybe you rotate the rib cage up to the ceiling a little bit more. Take some deep inhales and exhales out through that left side. Feel that left hip sink a little bit more. And then I want you to rotate your rib cage down towards the floor. Bring that left hand down on the floor. And then just start to slowly walk your hands through center, keeping your head down. And then just kind of pause on that left side for a second, anchoring down to that right hip. And then you can rotate the rib cage open, coming into that side stretch. Reaching through the right fingertips, taking some deep breaths into that right side of your rib cage, letting the exhales take that right hip down a little bit further. Maybe you spiral the rib cage to the sky a little bit more. And then come all the way back up to center. One last variation. Reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, hinge forward out in front of you until your hands can touch the ground out in front of you, and then you can round the chest. You can come down to the forearms, or you can keep reaching through the fingertips. And then try to exhale, sink your hips back a little bit more. Let your chest and your neck relax. One last breath in. And on your exhale, you can round yourself all the way up to seated. You guys are all done. That was Pilates. So if you didn't see on my Instagram, tomorrow I'm doing an Earth Day class to benefit an organization that fights the fossil fuel industry and promotes renewable and clean energy. All of my motivations will go towards that tomorrow for our 50th anniversary of Earth Day. Otherwise, today donations for just myself, hit up my Venmo. Any questions, you guys can reach out to me, whatever way you feel comfortable. Otherwise, have a good rest of your week. And